So the world's greatest military power went to war against a fourth-rate nation whose military budget with the rounding error in our defense spending, and it appears that we lost. Hi, Paul Krugman with a late night, it's an evening update, which I don't usually do, but I wanted to get this in before who knows what happens in the news tomorrow. It's Tuesday. I am It's the day that the stock market rallied enormously, that the price of oil, futures price of oil, dropped precipitously, all on the happy news that the United States appears to be, at least based on Trump's Truth Social, appears to be surrendering. Trump put up a Truth Social post saying that, we don't need to open the Strait of Hormuz. If the Europeans think they need it, they should go ahead and do it. And it's up to them. And this is pretty amazing. Of course, the idea that it only matters to the Europeans, that it doesn't matter to us, is all wrong, and that will be a subject of a Substack post shortly. But it is pretty much a confession, though it's framed as we won, now let somebody else do the cleanup. But the reality is it's effectively a confession that, we lost. We can't do this. How the hell did we manage to do this? Now, I mean, objective reality is that this was never going to be easy. Maybe it wasn't even going to be doable. There were reasons why we didn't go to war with Iran, particularly why we didn't go to war in a way that basically became an existential threat for the regime, so that they have no compunction about creating lots of damage, because if the alternative result is annihilation for them personally. But the risks, everybody who thought about it even for a couple of minutes, anyone who knew anything, particularly anyone who'd been paying attention to, we've had 4 years of war in Ukraine, and we know something about what modern war looks like, and about the inability of countries that have conventional superiority in forces to avoid major damage from drones and missiles. This was completely, unbelievably stupid. How did we get there? Well, there was a very good article by Tobin Harshaw in Bloomberg, and mostly I'm just riffing off what he wrote, but I think that it deserves wider circulation, in which he resurrected a book I had forgotten about, a 1976 book by Norman Dixon called The Psychology of Military Incompetence. Dixon looked at it was very British oriented, but the lessons apply, looked at the great military disasters of British history, and found that there was actually, you might think there were many reasons why really bad decisions were made, but he actually said there was a kind of consistent pattern. That what happened was that you had military leaders, or people making military decisions, who for the most part shared two things. First, they had this atavistic, anachronistic belief that warfare is all about muscles and not about minds, which hasn't been true for a very long time. And second, they argue that they are just generally anti-intellectual, anti-education. So in some sense, it's all about muscles, and don't give me all of these smarty pants intellectuals who telling me about why I'm doing it wrong. It's an uncannily accurate portrait of Pete Hegseth, down to even seemingly minor details. Muscular Christianity is among the defining symptoms of the bad British military leaders that Dixon analyzed. So this is what happened. This is not about specific bad judgments. It's not about in a way about the specifics of the case. It is that we were led into war by people who exemplified in the classic way how really bad military decisions are made. And it all comes down to believing in brute force and toughness and muscles in the age of drone warfare, and hate. Intellectuals hate learning. What really gets me is that in a war where the deciding factor is having some intellectual understanding of what you're doing, that a theocratic regime in Iran, which basically wants to bring back the Middle Ages, mostly got it right. And the world's leading haven of scientific thought, or we were at least until the current administration, got it completely wrong. It's humiliating. It's awful. And we will all be paying the price for this incredible defeat for probably for the rest of our lives. Enjoy your evening.